I was very vocal immediately. I was at an event with my wife, and what happened was the person who did this was he was the head of the motion picture department at my own agency.
All of us kind of knew that shady things happen in Hollywood, but now the truth is finally out in front of everyone. Terry Crews, known for his hilarious roles in plenty of our favorite films, and now he's spilling the deets on what's been going on behind the curtains in Hollywood, including sexual harassment and abuse on both men and women, including himself. He's spoken out and laid it all on the table, even naming his harasser. Now, before we get into it, make sure to give the video a thumbs up and subscribe so you never miss out on any new videos. It's free and helps us bring out new content for your enjoyment. Crews didn't hold back when he started sharing his experience. He made it crystal clear that no one is immune to the problems going on in the industry. Even though he's got that tough guy attitude, he's become the victim of a powerful man. In his own words,
I was sexually assaulted by Adam Bennett, who was the head of the motion picture department at William Morris Endeavor.
But who is Bennett? Well, he's no small potatoes in Hollywood. He's represented some of the industry's heavyweights like Liam Hemsworth, Emma Stone, Sylvester Stallone, Eddie Murphy, and Adam Sandler. When we say powerful, we mean it. Bennett had connections that reached all the way to studio heads. His actions had a ripple effect throughout the entertainment business, impacting everyone from producers and writers to actors. Heck, he even had stakes in finance companies, the whole 9 yards. This just goes to show how deep and far-reaching the problem can be, even when it involves someone at the top of the ladder. But Terry Crews wasn't about to let this man's power stop him, even if it meant calling him out and making him the villain of the Hollywood elites. He put it all out there when he talked about what was going down in Hollywood. And honestly, it's not just a Hollywood thing. It's a problem around the world with power dynamics at play. He's seen it crop up in sports, politics, with racial aspects, and even when money is involved. Hollywood, though, it has this unique issue because so many folks see it as the ultimate dream job. But when someone holds the keys to your dream, they can easily manipulate you into thinking that all the harassment, abuse, and even rape is just part of the job description. And Terry didn't just come forward to spill some tea. He actually shared his own experience in a big meeting. But the unreal part is that some people just can't fathom a man like Terry Crews being a victim. But the reality is, what happened to him is what's happened to so many other men in Hollywood. And ever since he spoke up, a lot of other men have reached out to him, saying, "Me too, that's my story too." But they didn't have the guts or the feeling of safety to come forward. Why? Well, because the minute you do, you risk getting blacklisted, and your career could go kaput. And he wasn't wrong. It did have an impact on his career. According to one tweet, Terry Crews is not in Expendables 4 because the producer told him to drop his sexual assault case against Adam Bennett, and he refused and left the film. There was also selective outrage. One person tweeted, "Just a reminder that the men's rights activists who have been crowding around this Depp case as a victory for male survivors called Terry Crews a pathetic when he discussed his sexual assault as part of the #MeToo movement." People were super pissed at others for not supporting him. This one person tweeted, "Women, speaking about sexual assault. Men, okay, men get assaulted too though. Terry Crews opens up about his assault. Men, he be too big to get assaulted. He weak. He let that gay man touch him and did nothing about it." He shared a really eye-opening story about how he reacted when faced with a troubling situation. He said,
I was very vocal immediately. I was at an event with my wife, and what happened was the person who did this was he was the head of the motion picture department at my own agency. I don't know what was going on in his head. He actually did it twice in the same night in front of my wife.
Now, a lot of people might wonder, why didn't Terry, a pretty big and powerful guy, confront the situation head on? Well, he explained,
as a black man in America, you only have a few shots at success. I'm from Flint, Michigan. I have seen many, many young black men who were provoked into violence. And they were in prison, or they were killed, and they're not here. My wife, for years, prepared me. She said, if you ever get goaded, if you ever get prodded, if you ever have anyone try to push you into any kind of situation, don't do it. Don't be violent. And she trained me. I'll be honest with you. It was the strength of my wife who trained me and told me, if this situation happens, let's leave.
The next day, he went straight to the agency, armed with text messages and phone conversations as evidence. He told them that what had happened was absolutely unacceptable and demanded to know what they planned to do about this predator in their ranks. The agency initially assured him that they would take action, acknowledging that Terry was right, and it was indeed unacceptable. However, as time passed, they disappeared, and nothing happened. Terry didn't give up. He continued to pursue the matter with everyone involved. He mentioned,
this man actually called me, and he apologized. And this was the thing, and they were like, my bad.
Terry was clear that this wasn't a case of accidentally stepping on his foot. It was assault. He had expected the agency to react decisively, perhaps by firing the person responsible or conducting an investigation. However, none of that occurred, and the incident was quietly swept under the rug. Terry believed that, at the time, the culture didn't support him coming forward publicly. It was only when the #MeToo movement gained momentum and he saw the courage of Weinstein's victims that Terry felt empowered to share his story in solidarity with those women. Terry Crews didn't hold back when it came to exposing the dark side of the entertainment industry elites. He made a really important point about how women have been bravely stepping forward to share their experiences, but he couldn't help but notice the glaring silence from men on the issue. When asked about it, he acknowledged that,
but I have to say that the silence is deafening when it comes to men talking about this issue, simply because you're talking about a complicit system.
In Hollywood, Harry described a culture where horrifying things happen, where women are subjected to terrible experiences, and yet people are quick to excuse the perpetrators. He mentioned disturbing cases where women were assaulted and their fathers would say, "We shouldn't ruin his life because it's a good time." It's a world where men sometimes see the casting couch as a perk of the job, where they actually judge women based on how they look and even discuss who gets to attack her first. Terry candidly admitted that he had been privy to these kinds of conversations. But here's the thing, Terry wasn't just pointing fingers. He acknowledged that he himself had been part of the toxic masculine world. He clarified that,
no, did I molest anyone? Did I assault anyone? Did I rape anyone? No, but I was complicit because I looked the other way.
He firmly believed that it's crucial for men to hold each other accountable. That's the only way to break the cycle and change the system. He stressed that
if another man can come up to a man and say, we don't do that, we're not allowing that here, all of a sudden the culture will begin to change. And if I have to be the first one that's going to do it, then let it be. I will be that one.
He talked about how he almost lost it all, feeling pretty emasculated in the process. According to him,
the way he looked at me, the way he giggled, it was one of those things where he was like, hey man, no one's ever gonna believe you.
It was a classic power move, and sadly, a big issue in Hollywood, where folks in power sometimes abuse their positions and make others think it's just part of the job. Terry didn't go to the public right away, but he did some behind-the-scenes action. He confided in his agent, his manager, and even got a call from Adam Sandler that very night because the incident had rattled him so much. But here's the kicker. Bennett later calls Terry.
I get a call. Here, it's him on the line. I'm sorry. I was drunk. I wasn't myself that night. And I said, hey, man, you got to understand the depth of what you did.
In an emotional twist, Terry mentioned that
I paid William Morris Endeavor 10% of everything I made for the last 15 years. I did not deserve to get molested.
But here's where it gets bold. Terry filed a police report and talked about suing. He stressed the importance of holding people responsible for their actions. William Morris Endeavor suspended Adam Bennett after doing an internal investigation. Terry Crews also decided to cut ties with the agency. Through it all, he refused to play the victim card and stood up for his rights, demanding accountability. So, what do you think? Comment down below and let us know. If you like this video, click the subscribe button and hit the bell icon to be the first to see my next video. I post updates like this every week where I uncover the secrets of your favorite celebrities.